Hi everyone, welcome to the channel and my name is Manish Tiwari. So in this particular video we are going to talk about DevOps and we will try to understand what is DevOps, what kind of roles and responsibility are there while you are working as a DevOps engineer. And we will also talk about what kind of task DevOps engineer used to perform on day-to-day basis and what kind of packages you can expect while joining as a DevOps engineer and what kind of shift and culture DevOps engineer try to follow. So we are going to talk in detail and why I'm trying to cover this kind of question because when we are interacting with a number of candidates, we are mostly getting the question like how can I introduce myself during my interview? What kind of roles and responsibility you used to perform that we can explain during our interview? What kind of project you are working on? And the same project we can explain during our interview, correct? So to cover all these questions and their answer, we have here, and I'm going to record this particular video. So talking about the roles and responsibility, what DevOps engineer do on the like daily basis. So we as a DevOps engineer generally works with cloud. When I'm talking about the cloud, there are multiple clouds. It might be your AWS cloud, depends on the project, or you might be working with your Google Cloud, or you might be working with Azure Cloud, and there are other cloud providers as well that you can you can utilize. Correct. So mostly AWS cloud is used within the organization. If it's not the private cloud, you might work with the private cloud itself, or you might work with the public cloud as well. AWS, GCP, Azure, all these are kind of public cloud. Then other tools are like Kubernetes, so that is your container orchestration tool. And then we talk about Docker as well. So Docker is a kind of containerization tool where you create images out of your application, the source code you have written, correct? You create image out of that, you deploy that image on cluster, and to manage the cluster or to deploy your application in terms of microservices, breaking your application in a different microservices. We utilize this Kubernetes that is called your container orchestration tool. Then we also have to provision the infrastructure. For infrastructure provisioning, we use this Terraform. Terraform is a one of ISC tool, infrastructure as a code. Correct? So that is your ISC tool, what we utilize to provision infrastructure. To do the deployment or upgrade kind of activity for your infrastructure, for your application upgrade, we utilize Jenkins, GitHub Actions. So these are kind of CI/CD tool what we generally use. There are other available tools as well in the market, but you can go with all these tools and technology. For monitoring purpose, we generally use Grafana, Prometheus, Dynatrace, Splunk, Elk, Datadog. These are kind of tools we use as a APM tool. That means application performance monitoring tool. So normally you can go with all these tools and technology what we generally use on the day-to-day basis. And also I forgot few. That is your version control system like GitLab or GitHub you might be using, and you might be using working on this Linux operating system. What kind of software you are going to use in between? You are going to use with this Visual Studio Code for writing your code. You might be using K8lens or OpenLens to manage your Kubernetes cluster, and other software according to your use case. Then if I talk about task, what kind of task we perform on daily basis? These were kind of tools and technology, the skills you are going to use as a DevOps engineer. What kind of task you work on daily basis? So you might be working on provisioning infrastructure. That might be your responsibility within the team. Or it might be that you are working on application upgrade. You are working on infrastructure upgrade. So you generally used to get either GitHub issues or you generally used to get the Jira tickets. So you are going to work on Jira tickets. So there is a kind of sprint planning that might be of your 2 week or 3 week, depends on your team, depends on your project. So certain task will be assigned to you, and that task will be there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You will be performing some action on that, like you will be doing the POC, you will be working on that. Once it's get completed, you will be giving the update after 2 weeks, and in between also you are going to give the daily update kind of thing. Correct. Then if I talk about package, so what kind of package you can expect if you are fresher? You can start your career into DevOps, depends on the organization as well. But somewhere up to 5 LPA you can start, or it might vary as well with the organization, 3.5 LPA as well, if you are joining with any service-based company. So according to the market, according to the timeline, when you are going to join, their packages might vary. If you are joining a product-based company, the good one, you can go up to 15 LPA as well, while you are working with as a fresher engineer, correct? So your package differs according to your experience, according to the company as well. Then if I talk about shift, like somewhere people think that whether we are going to work in a particular shift, or like operations team usually works in the shift, correct? So you are going to follow that kind of culture, or how will it work? So if I talk specifically about shift, it this particular thing also may vary according to the organization. Somewhere you might be working 24 cross 7. That means you have to be available whenever there is a requirement. Somewhere it might be that there is a another team called as operations team or customer support team who are there to handle any kind of issues. But you are mostly focused as a DevOps engineer. You are mostly focused on working towards the automation related things. You are going to write down your Terraform modules to provision the infrastructure. You are going to write the manifest.yml file like to do the application deployment. You are going to write your Jenkins pipeline for your like continuous integration and continuous deployment kind of activity. So depends on your project, depends on your organization. You might be limited to a work, or you might be doing everything from scratch to end. Just to give one example, if you are working in Accenture, just for example, reference, my few of friends used to work in Accenture. So generally in Accenture, you get only one tool to work on. Like if there is you are working in CI/CD team, so you are going to work with only CI/CD part. Even though you are like designated as DevOps engineer, you do not have exposure on all these tools and technology. Correct? So that way, generally DevOps engineer works. And if I talk about the culture, so we generally follow this sprint planning stuffs, and it's a good culture what we used to follow within DevOps team. Like you have to focus on the automation related stuff. You are going to adopt new tools and technology. You are going to do a lot of POC, and you are talking about the cost management as well. You are talking about the security related stuffs as well. So there's a lot to like learn. There's a lot to implement. So overall, you are going to work with the different application, different microservices, correct? You are going to integrate all these things. You are going to test all these things, and even whenever required, you are going to do the development part as well. So it's not a kind of like where you have to just do the configuration. You might be required to work on the development side, as the DevOps itself says that it's the development plus operation. So you are going to work on all these stuffs. And if you are interested in learning about the DevOps, like DevOps training or interview preparation kind of stuff, you can directly WhatsApp us. Number you can get into the description of this particular video. So let's meet in the DevOps preparation bootcamp or DevOps training, wherever you want. Or if you have any kind of questions, you can put down your questions in comment section, and I'll be happy to answer that. So till the time, thank you. Bye bye.